Everyone knows what you're doing right now. Everybody's seeing you scratch your beard, Christian. Just want you to know. I really got to situate the lighting thing in my room because I'm just so much darker than either of you. Like at some point, I got to get something.
It's okay. It's so much blurrier than either of you. Much nicer cameras.
Well, you know, you remember the one I was running for a majority of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember, like 6 months ago, I had the better of the three of us.
It's true.
No longer true.
Yeah, you know, I got a rag and rubbed off all the Vaseline on the camera lens.
You do have the best audio by far, though.
Oh, yeah, this mic is awesome. I love it.
You're crisp as hell.
Yeah, I really want to order one, but they are all gone right now.
Oh, are they really? Oh,
yeah, they have been since the quarantine started. Like it took more than a month for me to even get this webcam, and it's an illegally manufactured Logitech from China, where they don't care about copyright laws.
It's true. Oh God, bones.
Okay, they let the word out.
Mm-hmm.
Is it on the Is it going on the Twitters?
I think Pax said something. I don't know on what thing. She said it on. Hey, look, somebody. We have an audience. We have a Merc in the audience.
That's crazy.
There's somebody there.
Hey, Merc.
Oh yeah, Pax pinged the Discord. So
that makes sense.
Oh, you can handle the Twitterverse, Christian.
I sent a thing, but you know, out into the Twitterverse. But who's gonna see that?
I don't even know, man.
I only check on Twitter like once every couple of months, as it is.
That's honestly the right choice, and I wish I could live that life, but I have no self-control.
I don't even have a Twitter. It's Tom from Metaverse that has a Twitter.
Right.
Well, technically, I don't either. Then just Jackson from Metaverse.
Yeah.
Everybody's stuck with my personal one and all my garbage. Stinky rat boy vibes.
I don't think they're stinky.
You don't know.
So how long has it been since we tried this out?
Oh God.
A month and a half.
All of our there's been some scheduling shenanigans, at least for myself and James. I don't know if you've had any scheduling. I don't know if you've had any scheduling shenanigans with this, Christian, or if you've just been forced into.
I've just been forced into it every week.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I'm on table takes every Friday afternoon going, I'm going to be on Trapper and Crow later, I think.
We're back, though. We're good. And this is...
Everybody at Gen Con thinks it's a joke.
It is. This is a joke. It's very silly. Whoa, that's crazy. Well, we're back, and I guess I could do a recap at this point, because it looks like we should
probably do a recap.
Get there. You know, we got people here now.
The last thing I remember is frog things.
God, yeah, the
things. What?
Yeah,
little bastards you tormented so terribly. All right, so it's been a minute, so we're gonna go through pretty much the whole thing. You are Trapper and Crow, licensed advocate, public couriers, barber. Work had been slow for a little while when somebody mysterious walked into your little situation, your office, which I believe was a repurposed warehouse and stable, like a really little one.
Yes.
Yeah. Her name was Bree, and she hired you to bring a secret item, which, you know, you'd be paid better if you didn't ask any questions about, to a location that you were not told a bunch about, but it is in the Akan Wastes somewhere, which is a place that you were relatively familiar with. It was a, you know, legend and whatever has it that long time ago, it was some big old spooky like kingdom back in like the Middle Ages or whatever, and then it absolutely fell apart. Just total decimation. There's some scholarly debate on why. but that is where you were heading to bring things. So making your way to Lee, or Line's End, which is way out at the end of the railroad tracks where you'd have to hoof it the end of the way, which I did not mean to be a joke because you are on horses, but it was on accident, and I'm sorry. So making it way out to Lee, you knew that there was somebody you had to meet up with. Cassidy, who happened to be a chimpanzee bartender, which, for reference, was very, very strange for all of you. That's not a normal thing. This is a relatively, as far as your characters are previously aware, a relatively grounded setting, not a lot of weird mystical stuff happening all over the place. Met up with Cassidy. You got rooms and a drink for free to stay overnight, and you were given the package itself, as well as a compass, which you were told would always point to your direction, to the direction that you were supposed to be going. So, after trying to gather some information and getting pretty much nothing but superstition and folklore, you
we decided to not do any more research.
Yes.
No more research, because everybody was just talking weird stuff or whatever, you know.
And we didn't believe a single word of it.
Of course.
It was an ape.
Yeah.
It was an ape.
There was a talking ape. I mean,
it took me a while to get over that.
Yeah, no, of course. And how
you're
much?
Over that? I'm still not over that.
No, that's fair. You know, things are like that. So you passed over the ridge leading into the Akan Wastes, which seemed to be this large, expansive scrubland, warm, relatively arid, and mostly boring, at least for the first little while, until you were attacked by spooky monsters. Ooh.
Yeah, the wolf,
the wolf snake thing.
I forgot about the wolf snake thing. I was thinking
that was the first one. We'll get to the more dogs to come. Don't worry. There's a lot of weird magic dog shit in this campaign. I'm gonna put that out right now. There's been a lot of weird magic dogs.
We've been stepping in magic dog shit every day.
True.
So the wolf snakes, which oh god, it's a damn shame in it. Wolf snake, you know, little thing, sitting sort of trying to do some tremors thing, but landing more like a bear trap, settling just under the dirt. Snapped on a leg, which you then immediately ripped out and beat to death. Just no false pretenses. You know, tried to bear trap you. What are you gonna do?
Yep,
pulled that big old sucker out.
So I had to shoot it.
Yeah, shot it with some arrows. You know, like a fancy lad, because guns are loud and unsporting, or some other reason that your character doesn't use guns.
Loud, just loud. He just doesn't like how loud they are.
That also makes a lot of sense.
It severely triggers his PTSD.
You know, that admittedly makes a lot of sense. So upon dealing with that, you were also attacked by some sort of hellhounds, it seemed. Giant, oversized, once again, dogs. Big horns.
Fight barehanded.
Indeed. Big, terrifying horns. Largest one approximately the size of a rhinoceros. Beat him back. Get him out of there. And then upon waking, found that the skull of the largest one, perfectly bleached and polished, was waiting on the hip of Crow's horse. Because some magical shenanigans.
I punched his skull out.
You punched his skull out so good.
Mm-hmm.
All the meat just came right off. It was frankly not very tastefully done as far as the special effects department went. It was a little gratuitous, but you know, what are you going to do? So, after that happened, you made your way to a watering hole where you sat down for a little while, hunted some jackalopes, because, you know, fresh meat's better than salted more often than not.
And Trapper loves his meat on a stick.
Trapper loves meat on a stick. It's, you know, I'm 85% sure it's a cultural thing for a culture that does not exist. It's just Trapper.
I'm sorry, it's not that. It was very funny, but I was just looking at the screen, and we look like hipster ZZ Top at a Zoom meeting.
Oh, God. Yeah.
How?
Oh, piss off. So you made your way to a watering hole, acquired some meat on a stick, and found that there was a woman approaching on the horizon. Her name is Corella. She was around 55, salt and pepper hair, peach fuzz, leathery brown skin as somebody who spent their entire life under the uncaring sun. She was relatively kind, offered you a shelter for the night in the ruined, totally swept out ghost town that she still calls home. It was called Riverbrook back in the day. She did a bit of exposition dumping about the background of the setting, you know, as must be done every now and then.
Right. Yeah. No, she was definitely responsible for some flavor text.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You were both knighted. Important thing to note. Maybe
it's crazy talk.
Crazy talk. You've both been knighted.
Maybe.
Yeah. She gave you warnings of a werewolf. You struck out in the morning. After a few days, as you went to enter into the forest, the next leg of your journey, turns out she was the werewolf. As must often be done, she was dealt with, beat down by the her own silver weapons, I believe, that were given to you. The silver brass knuckles. The silver knuckle dusters. And the curse was unfortunately passed on to Trapper, not in the traditional way, but in a weird sort of ghost business. Oh no, you're right. Merc pointed it out. You had
knuckle dusters came after.
Yeah.
Yep.
Short sword was silvered, and then there were knuckle dusters. That is correct. Trapper has werewolf ghost in his blood, which is like a bad way to be. And then Trapper took ill for the next few days as you traveled through the forest. Continuing onward, you found yourself into what seemed to be sort of a classical fantasy goblin type, who was relatively certain that he was a human and you guys were weird, but then his whole kind of worldview got thrown into whack unbalance.
So did ours, man. So did ours.
Yeah. Scrunger was an apothecary who asked about Trapper's condition and offered to help in exchange for you doing your fair share to get one of the ingredients that was missing. So there was a giant moose bear, which needed to be taken care of and brought back to the hovel. It, in theory, didn't need to be taken care of, but it was giving you some problems, so you bopped it in the nose real hard, because, you know, as must be done. And some shed antlers were acquired, which were part of the concoction. Trapper was given a poultice, which has alleviated some of the oncoming sickness of delving into lycanthropy.
Nasty business.
Putting Trapper into a better place where, at least at this point, there's only minor upsides and not really much else. After that, you continued ever onward and found your way to another ruined town without a name, beyond the forest in this sort of rocky, flat plain with intermittent hills, sort of ringed almost like a massively oversized caldera by mountains, way off, always just tips peeking up over the horizon. So, pushing onward, finding this ruined town, very similar to Riverbrook, the one that you stayed at with your friend at the time, Corella, who, once again, the ghost does not blame you. All's cool. You guys are, like, cool, except for the fact that she did put werewolf ghosts in your blood. That was a little rude. We'll address that.
She was very polite about it, because I'm like, nope, not me. And she's like, okay then.
Just about that, yeah. So yes, you found your way to this other ruined town, stayed there for the night, finding shelter as the rain started to come in. Noticed that there was evidence of somebody else, like very recently, camping out there, possibly staying there, but out at the moment. Said, you know what? Nope, we met a few people. All of them were weird. We're just going to leave and leave this person alone, because trouble always comes of it.
Yes.
So pushing onward, you went in and noticed overnight that the rain started to overtake what you would expect. It started to flood up multiple feet high in this massive, flat sort of bowl of land. So pushing onward the day after, while the rains was still pushing onward down. Excuse me. Words just walking all over each other. Pushing ever onward, you found yourselves at a hill as the rains continued to fall, which you figured was probably safe and would serve as a dry place to land for the night. And it was. However, over the course of the first night, some weird little creatures which looked sort of like lungfish with frog legs started to try to come up and hang out on the thing. And you killed a lot of fish. There are a lot of dead fish now.
Yeah.
But I didn't kill any.
It's true. That's true.
I just threw them back.
Yeah, you just you scooped them and tossed them.
We worked on the art of skipping.
Yeah.
That's right.
You and the moon stared at one another beautifully. And after a few more days of similar thing, as the rain finally stopped and the water started to slowly recede back into the ground, you find yourself finally where we pick up now. Morning after, water's only about 1.5 feet high, which is frankly pretty good. And just on the horizon, your best guess would be at the paces you're kind of forced to travel in this water, probably around a day's worth of travel away, maybe a little less. You might be able to get there before sundown. What looks to be in between this sort of passage between the mountain range that surrounds you, just a little bit off in the distance, what looks to be some sort of more artificial shapes, maybe some kind of stone city built into the passage between the mountains. And that's where we pick up. So I am very quickly on my phone, because for some reason I can't log into my Twitter, so I can't get the link to the store. But now I can look at what the store says now that we're done with the recap. So, first of all, there's the store in chat. Thanks, Nightbot. Thanks, Merc. Y'all are doing good work. First, we've got at, hashtag draw2. I've got 2 cards, one for each of you. So for $10, we can put one in the store, and anytime that initiative is drawn, which is drawn with cards, you can use draw 2 and take the better one, because that's
awesome.
It's good. It's good to have. It's better to go first more often than not.
It's always better to go first more often than
Especially with all the magic I use.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Next, on hashtag GM Benny, we have He Ain't Heavy, He's My GM. The Game Master, that's me, gains a Benny that I can use on my spooks and nasty boys. And then finally, at hashtag Player Benny, don't hate the player, hate the Benny. For $20, each of the 2 players can also gain a Benny, which can be used on a variety of things, such as making rerolls, negating damage, kind of manipulating the story a little bit. Once again, drawing a new action card, but differently. Yeah, it's a very useful thing to have. A Benny is pretty much just a, I would like to do that again, please. Let's see if we can make this work.
How many do we have?
Currently, you 2 have been keeping track of your own bennies. In theory, they should be attached to those because a bunch got used and my math got off. So we talked about it.
4 weeks ago.
It was like 4 weeks ago. That's true.
I don't know what you're sitting at, but I have 5.
You have 5. I had 1 at the end of last session.
And I don't know.
I believe you were around 4. I think. I believe it was somewhere around there. However, we are also all...
Merc says Crow had 4.
Merc says Crow had 4. I believe Merc.
Thanks, Merc. So, since it is also the beginning of a session, we are all going to be gaining 1. So I get to go up to 2. Trapper gets to go up to 6. And Crow gets to go up to 5. And that's how the story goes. And now, finally,
person again. I've got those sweet bennies from my Rifts box set.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty nice. I wonder if we will ever see them on stream.
I feel like we should also play a few warm-up games.
Yes.
Maybe before we even hit the studio, is what I'm saying.
I think
we could probably manage that.
I think that makes sense. So, it is morning. You have rested. The water is lower, and you see the city with your compass, your slightly, apparently broken compass, pointing directly at it.
I'm tired of soggy boots.
Ride.
Okay.
You can't just feel bad for the horses. You've got to get on it and ride, and you won't be wet. I didn't mean that.
What about Cisco's soggy hooves?
Well, there's not to be done about it right now.
You're right.
Onward to drier ground.
Okay.
So,
everything all right with you, Trap? You're not normally this talkative.
I think I've got more arm hair now.
I did not notice.
it's a little thicker, a little darker.
Oh, no, there it is.
Just, just a little bit. If you're looking for it, you could see it.
Probably nothing.
I can smell things too.
Well, it's just not very polite to bring it up, though, is it? I can't apologize every time I let one go, Trap.
What did you let go?
Nothing. Nothing. Well, come on, we got ground to make up.
Okay. Do you think that place is it?
Probably not. But if any place here were to be it, I'd pick that place.
Okay.
Could be just for show, though. Facade. An illusion. We've seen some strange things since we've been here, Trap.
Yep.
Be on your guard. And also on mine.
Okay.
We're all out here guarding each other. Truly. So as you push onward through the weird, uncomfortable, slight wetness, watching the weird little fishy boys swimming, trying to avoid your horse's hooves as they pass along. You spend a few hours. It gets to be approaching midday. When did you guys get up? That's an important question that I should ask, because I'd like to know.
Probably, I mean, we probably didn't get a lot of sleep, let's be honest. It'd probably be fairly close to just after dawn.
Yep.
Okay.
So we can get on the road as quick as possible, or on the lake, as it were.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, so pushing onward, it starts to approach closer and closer to midday. The horses, would probably like to take a break relatively soon, and there is a hill not too far in front of you.
All right.
Looks like a few days ago when you started on your little road trip through this whole sort of wetland situation, the floodlands, it probably wouldn't have been exposed. There's only like a foot or two of exposed area above the water. But now it is clear, and you can take it.
Well, we will then.
Too right. You do your normal sort of taking a break things, stretch your legs. It's important, general stuff. Let the horses stop for a minute, rest their legs. And now I would like for both of you. Hold on, it's been a minute since I used Savage World, so I'm gonna look at this. I want to find the right thing. I would like for both of you to make notice checks for me, if you'll be so kind. And you know what?
It's
I
my
will
best
make it a
skill. Woo. 7.
15.
You know what? I got an exploding dice and it landed, giving me a 9, but that's not good enough for a 15. You, Trapper, sort of as you're, doing your business. I don't know what business you're doing. Your resting business. Just taking a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Getting ready to take a nap.
Yeah, getting ready for a nap, crunching some hardtack, however you may be doing it. You notice back a ways, pretty much mostly behind you, but a little bit to the south, which looking towards the city, south is on your right-hand side. So you sort of look back and notice way off in the distance what looks to be several humanoid forms on horses slowly tailing.
Tailing us?
They're at the very least heading the same direction. They're pretty far away, but they are coming towards you. Now, since it's been a little while and I don't expect y'all to remember, I will let your characters do, say, a spirit or a smarts thing to remember a bit of information you got, what, like a month and a half ago at this point?
What if I remember?
Well, if you just remember, then you remember. Do you remember? What are your thoughts?
I think they're following us. They might be those fellas that tore up the town looking for the criminal. The ones she said don't die.
You don't have to roll anymore. That was the bit. Yeah. So with that bit of information that you remember, and looking back at them.
Remind Christian the player what we're talking about.
Apparently about 20 years ago.
No wonder I don't remember.
Oh yeah. Corella's town was torn up by a posse of 7 lawmen who came in from your side of the ridge, the non-magical part of the world. They were looking for some kind of runaway convict, and they just tore through, absolutely tore down the entire town of Riverbrook, and it was a bad time.
And they can't die?
Apparently they don't die, right? Or they haven't yet, at the very least.
That's what the werewolf lady said.
All right. Well, let's get some high ground while we've got it.
I don't think the open is a good place. They probably have guns.
Well, they don't know that we don't have guns. In fact, I carry a pistol. It's just not loaded with anything. Gunpowder's expensive. Truthfully, it's a little more than a club that falls apart too easy. But
how far away is that?
Shit out of people.
How far away is that town?
The town that Corella was in?
The one we're headed towards.
One you're headed towards, based on the amount of time you've made and how much larger it's getting, you'd guess probably about 8 hours until you get there. Maybe 6 if you push it.
And how long till they catch up?
Not entirely sure. Probably at the pace they're currently going, if they kept up with it. Your best guess would be maybe like 40 minutes. They're not going quick. They seem to be taking a relatively leisurely pace.
I don't like this, Crow.
Yeah. Well, let's Dismount, leave the horses on the hill, let them think we're grazing. Take us to him. Get behind him. Give him a bad day.
That's really smart.
It's smarter than just standing up on a hill. Oh, right, with the bow, though, that might be not the worst idea. I'm gonna go play Frogman. You do, trapper things.
I got an idea.
Well, shoot, that's what you do best.
Yep.
I'm with you. Let's go.
Beautiful. So, what's the plan, kids?
I think Merc called it. Bury the box. He guards the hill. I swim around behind him and see if I can pincer him in between us.
I'm going to take the horses to the far side of the hill so that they'll be blocked by the hill.
Sounds good. Mostly out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to crawl back up that way on my belly so hopefully they don't see me either.
Sounds right. Well, why don't the both of you...
I'll grab him some deadfall so he can make a makeshift ghillie suit.
There you go. You want to go on record. The landscape here is pretty much all just stone.
Yep.
Right. So no shrubberies. That's fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a rough place.
But stone is good for what I'm doing because I'm just going to pull myself along the bottom since it's only like 1.5 feet deep.
Yeah. Pop up for air and every now and then.
Like a big old alligator.
A big old biogator.
Cover myself in mud so I blend in with the rocks.
Doing
that. Yeah. That would do some work. It's
keeping his eyes.
Go on.
Keeping his eyes very squinty. Because otherwise grows very large.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me like a survival for mud. And then I'm gonna have both of you give me stealth checks.
Okay. My survival is a 4.
Okay, that's gonna negate the -2 penalty you would get since there's, you would stick out, but you are not. So this is gonna be a flat stealth.
Do you want like an athletics to hold my breath underwater and stuff too?
Yes. If you can roll well, I will give you a bonus because you are able to not have to come up as much, so you're less likely to get seen. So if you get a success, I will give you a +2 bonus.
Okay, well, I've got a 5 on my athletics.
That's going to be a success, so you're going to get +2 to your stealth.
Oh, yeah, that's a 6. Okay. Sorry, new die. It's one of my Rips dice, and I couldn't tell that this was a 6.
Too right. Blow that sucker up.
11 + 2, 13 on my stealth.
Okay. First of all, hell yeah. What are we looking at, Trapper?
I got a 21 on my stealth.
Jesus.
I just want you to know I'm rolling these dice for posterity. Because if I don't...
Because nobody can see a 21.
Yeah.
God, I forgot how good you are at that stuff.
1, and then I'm going to do a general 1.
I just bumped up my stealth to like D8 and thought I was big shit.
5s is what they got. They got some 5s.
They didn't get either of us.
No. None of them got either of you. Truth be told.
And how many of these fellers are there?
7.
That's a lot.
Yeah. 7 is a non-zero amount.
And they're riding horses also?
As you get closer, you're able to get a better look. And both the riders and the horses seem to be completely flesh stripped, just bones and clothes and kit. Wearing a very classical, like lawman sort of blue with a brown dusters on the one riding in the front. They sort of take almost like a bird's V formation between the 7 of them. Lawman blue on all of them, and then big brown duster on the frontmost one. They all seem to have looks to be, as you get closer and closer, probably black powder revolvers on their hips, and big one seems to have some sort of a lever gun. It's a little out of date by now, you would both know, but it is a gun.
Mm.
Well, I'm gonna get. I mean, sneaking up on 7 guys isn't gonna do me much good. But
when they get within range, I'm gonna shoot one of them with my bow so that I will distract them from Crow's ambush attack.
This makes sense. Now, is there a specific range marker you have listed for your bow?
I would prefer to fire when they are within 65 feet or less, about 20 yards.
14 years.
So I'm not going to have y'all re-roll because them stealth rolls were, in fact, pretty ballin'. However, it is going to be tense between the 2 of you because it is just waiting for a hot minute. Probably took you, you know, going.
I'm putting on those knuckle dusters because
bone on crack the
bone
skull.
Gonna hurt too bad, right?
Yeah. So it's gonna be better bones. Let me see. Got the stuff that I need, I believe. Not looking for hand weapons. I am looking for this one. Beautiful. Sorry, I'm making sure I have all the stuff to flip to easily. So that, you know, I don't slow stuff down as soon as we get into combat, which it sounds like might happen. So it takes a.
Were you planning on doing a chase scene?
You know, I have learned well enough not to plan on anything. I put them in front of you, and now I know what you're doing. You'll never know what I had planned.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, Merc. Are these as soft as real silver?
Much like the sword, it is steel that has been coated in an outer layer of silver.
Okay.
Or at least that would be your guess, because you asked. So I'm telling you, even though I don't know, your character might not know, but now you do.
Well, he knows how to check see if gold and silver is real.
It's true. That's fair. You can tell by the heft that it's probably not silver. Hold on, let me Google this real quick because this is the upside to not doing it in a studio. Doing this. Hold on. Okay, that is what I thought. They're too heavy to be silver. There's definitely some kind of core inside of them, giving them their shape. Thanks, Google. I thought that's what I thought. And it turned out I was right, but I didn't want to talk out of my ass when I don't have to. So,
it gets muffled by the chair.
Trap telling you about his cooking saddle again, is he?
Yeah. That's the truth of the matter. So, after waiting and Crow, you maintaining a pace directly behind them. Why don't
an alligator
doing the gator thing? You're gatoring up on them. So Trapper, why don't you give me a shot?
I'm going for the one on the furthest left of the line. I'm utilizing the drop and making a called shot to the head as part of the drop. to maximize the effectiveness of the rule system and combat of Savage Worlds.
That makes sense. Did you say you were shooting at the big one? Or the...
No, the one to the furthest left on the line.
Okay, furthest left, which would be furthest south to you. Beautiful. So, let me...
And then afterwards, target down.
I mean, almost certainly. You guys are a little ridiculous. And I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Well, making the called shot to the head removes the 4-point bonus I get to attack for the drop, but I still got a 17 on my shooting test, so that will be a raise.
First of all, thank goodness only one raise counts. Yeah, go ahead and...
So I get an extra dice for the raise, and extra dice for the called shot to the head.
Makes sense.
The standard dice, and the drop extra damage. I'm stacking everything up that I can here.
No, of course.
Damn, Merc is learning the system.
Does the drop add 4 damage as well? Good
Yep,
question.
and if you target something like, say, the head, they got to make a vigor roll at -2 or be knocked unconscious if I get a shaken or better result. Of course, they're dead, so I don't think they can be knocked unconscious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they can't even be shaken or some undead things can't. I remember.
You'll find out.
But I get to roll a lot of damage dice, so I'm confident.
That's my
That
least
sounds
favorite
like a lot.
sound when you're GMing.
Couldn't kill me through the entirety of that Starfinder campaign, though. I tried to get myself 3 times in that finale, and I couldn't be killed once.
With the extra damage all calculated, it's going to be 30 points of damage to the head.
Hold on, let me do some mental arithmetic really quick. Okay, so it's like one of the mooks, and it's like that. Oh yeah. You draw back the arrow. You loose. First of all, immediately after the arrow goes in directly into the forehead, right here. What in theory should be a very difficult part of a skull to crack. The arrowhead pierces right into the center of the skull with a harsh cracking sound, and just the back of the entire skull blows out. First of all, covering Crow in bone meal. They still haven't noticed you, but you know, you got bone bits on you now. Falls off of the skeletal horse. They all snap their heads to the one who has fallen, and then snap their heads to the direction of the arrow. You've been noticed. Crow, it is your turn before we draw initiative. What would you like to do?
I'm going to come up out of the water between 2 horses, grabbing 2 guys by their belts and dragging them into the water.
Okay, I like that a lot.
Preferably guys with black powder weapons, because if they get wet, you can't fire them.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, all of them are using black powder weapons. So yeah,
so I got confused.
No, yeah, guy is using a lever action, but it's more like a Henry or a Yellow Boy, so it's a black powder cartridge.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Give me, I guess,
2 fighting tests at -2.
Yeah, that's the way we're gonna do it. So the first one, let's see. What is your fighting thing in my lap? Excuse me.
You're asking me?
No, I'm talking to the book in my lap.
Yeah, these have parry scores on this, right?
No, right, yeah. I was, that's right. I don't know, I thought it would be a contested thing, given it was,
No, your
different, but that makes
parry is based on your fighting score
Yeah,
and a few other things
Oh, of course.
for some folks.
Yeah.
11.
Great. First one's gonna do it. Definitely gonna go down.
Sorry, 9 because of the -2.
Right. Yes. That is still going to succeed with a raise.
And that is so at 8 for the second one.
Second one is going to succeed. I am going to, with that raise, allow you to do normal hand damage with your like martial arts because you're a puncher. So not counting the knuckle dusters. Do normal hand damage on the first one that you pulled down as well. Because you got a raise on that. So you pull both of them off of the horses for sure, but you get that guy in the right angle and the head just like goes into the water and slams directly into the hard rock stone ground. Oh, I said stone.
Unarmed. Here we go. Excellent.
Plus
D8. Plus 2. Ooh, 8 exploded and got a 6. So that's 14 plus 3, 17, 19.
Yeah, you feel as you go for the pull, kind of like, your hand's a bit wet, so it slips. You sort of lose grip on the belt, and then as they're falling, you grab the skull, push it down, and you feel the entire skull crack and powder under the hard rock of the continuously slightly lowering water level, which at this point is only about a foot deep. Second one just falls into the ground, and there's like some weird, silly chattering noises.
Right.
Because it's bones.
Right. Wouldn't? Yeah, of course there's chattering noises.
Yeah, they're silly bone boys. So now, let me update that. James, would you happen to have those beautiful cards on hand?
I do. Do you want first card, Crow, or should I take first card?
I'll take it this time.
Okay, first card is going to be a king.
Ooh, nice.
There's my crown, king.
I'll follow you with a
ace. You still get to go first.
Okay, so do one for the mooks. This will be a normal draw.
10.
Nice. So that's going to be... and then give me a card for the marshal. Don't like it. Give me another one.
Hang on, let me put that in my discard pile.
Makes sense. That one will do. Still going to go last, but it's not lower than a 5.
That's a good edge.
It is a good edge. I've had it before. So, Trapper, it's back to you. There is confusion amongst the undead ranks.
This is where more shooting happens. I'm going to fire twice with my trusty bow and arrow. Because my improved trademark weapon offsets the multi-action penalty.
Hell yeah, take those shots. I accept.
So far, this is my favorite part of the show. James explaining things in character. I love it.
It's so choice. It's exactly what I wanted.
Aiming for 2 of the different other gunmen, not the marshal.
All right. Sounds good. There are 4 of them still alive, quote unquote, 2 on each side, but one of them has been drug into the water, but is still moving.
I got a 10 on the shooting test for one of them.
That's definitely going to hit.
And an 11 on the shooting test for the other one.
Raises on both, because shots only need to beat a 4 on ranged attacks, so go get him, Tiger. I'm going to make this easier on myself and assume that 2 of them die. I can amend my counter if I need to.
That's 17 damage on the first one.
Yep. Same thing. Back of the skull. Totally blows out.
And it's going to be a lot more on the second one.
I want to know the number, just so.
Well, not a lot more because my exploding dice didn't roll really high on the second roll, so it's only going to be 23 on that one.
Right. We're just going to assume that for some reason, as soon as your arrow makes contact with any part of this bone boy, just a fine white mist appears where once the skeleton stood.
He's misting bone.
Yeah, no, it's like, come on. I don't know what to tell you. It's just
It's
fuck
acting
off.
in a way that is unusual to an arrow, like the sniper rifle in Navy SEALs.
And after I shoot them both, I shout at the skeletal people, hey, hey, over here. You can't get me.
You could make, God, I guess like a bluff or a. Hold on, let me take a look, see if I can figure out something that's appropriate for this. There's literally a taunt skill, or did that get removed in the newer version?
Oh no, that's real.
Okay, because I'm still, I'm just over here still using deluxe because I prefer to buy a physical.
Characters have it, unlike our characters that don't actually have smarts or spirit, so we don't use those skills very often.
It's true, but I keep goddamn asking for them.
I don't have the skill, so I got to make the spirit test at a -2. Excuse me, the skill test at a -2.
Yeah.
But I still got my trusty wild die and 6 bennies. So
Wild.
I'm still gonna get a 9 on my taunt.
Yeah, I'll give that to you for the 2 scrawny ones because they're kind of just whatever. But I am going to do a little resistance for the one that I have dubbed the Marshal. Marshal don't give a shit.
Damn it.
Nope, there's I'm having problems back here. Not that killing you wouldn't be good, because you've killed a lot of skeletons today.
He's a really bad marshal now. He's what you would call a raging bone guy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's who knows? Crow, it's your turn.
Oh.
He's done shooting things now.
Everybody's going after Trapper suddenly. There's a guy in the water and a marshal, right?
Yeah. Yep. One guy in the water, one still on a horse, and the marshal.
Okay, well, the one still on a horse has to get off the horse.
Of course, you're just going to scamper over and scoop him off the horse?
Well, I'm right next to a horse already, that 2 horses that don't have riders. I'm just going to hop up onto one and leap over the marshal to the other one and knock him off his horse.
Okay. Give me an athletics check. This will be difficult, but this will not only count for style points, but it will also count for demounting the rider. Yeah. I have a negative point value in my head, and I'm just going to tell you what it is after.
Okay. Well, I'm going to use a Benny because I did not succeed.
Okay. Do it.
Good use of a Benny.
Yeah. Because not only are you jumping on horses, you're jumping on horses without any meat. You know what you need to do.
People know what meatless horses are like. The 10 rolled 10 that time, so I'll re-roll that.
Meatless horses.
That is a 16.
Meatless horses have more handles, though.
It's true. So even with the -4 taking that from a 16 down to a 12, that's still going to be a success with technically only 1 raise because their parry score is 5.
Oh, right. Awesome.
Yeah. However, do normal hand damage as you jump through the air and spin kick this guy in the head, apparently.
Yeah, I kicked him in the head. I gotta look up the damage again. Stupid.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's just me not being on. That's me being on 2 different windows. And I guess the D20 is out of the question. Oh well.
You can dream.
And I do. That is only going to be 14 damage.
Head powdered. It shatters. at the might of your heel. What'd you expect? All right. So, is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's all I'm doing this turn is jumping on the horse, from the horse to the guy, tackling him off.
Great. Okay. So,
right over the marshal.
there are 2 skeletons left, and it's finally their turn to go. Mook's over here is going to... I'm going to pre-use the multi-action penalty because having been affected by the taunt from Trapper because it's stupid, it literally has no brain. It's going to try and climb out the water, pull out its cap and ball revolver, point it up at the hill over to where Trapper is, pull the trigger, just a click. You know, all the powder's completely sodden at this point. Notice that's wrong. Come at you with a Bowie knife, Crow, because he can't get up to Trapper. But it will be at the -2 for the multi-action penalty. And admittedly, fighting, not these guys' best score. I'm going to put that up there right now.
My parry is 8.
Well, I didn't ace, so I couldn't do it. So that's going to be the Mookie Mook's turn. And now we push on to the Marshal, who is, you know, still sitting on the horse, going to rip off and try and come around a bit. And, well, taking a pass next to Crow, going to attempt to take a shot, which I have the dice for, but I need to pop back over here so I can find the proper damage for the weapon.
These horses don't provide great cover, what with them being bones and all.
Yeah, it'd be like you get a +1 cover for being behind the horse. I'll give that to you. It's, you know, it's very minor, but it's not non-existent. And we're going to give that to this one. That does that much.
Skeletons make poor body shields.
They really do. All right, got that. There's the dice. Is a 10 going to hit? I know it will, and that's still going to get 1 raise because you only have the +1 sort of business. That's right. Oh no, there's the other die 8. Got it. You are going to take, unless you would like to attempt to soak, a total of 11 damage.
That seems like a lot, and yes, I would like to soak.
Very good. Take it away.
My toughness takes away some, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Toughness takes away from that damage, and then you can roll a vigor die if you made a soak.
Yeah.
Excellent.
1 success leaves you shaken, and then raises leave you with wounds after that.
Excellent. Vigor die. Ooh, that's what I want on a vigor die. Okay, so 14 is at least a raise.
A 14 on the vigor die, and then
That's
what's
2
your
raises,
toughness?
And what?
What's your toughness?
7.
So what was the initial damage again?
It was 11, so you have completely eaten it up.
Yep.
Because the soak roll is 1-to-1 for how much damage it consumes, as opposed to being a success and a raise and stuff like that.
Correct.
Yeah. That's you.
Okay.
And then taking a second shot. Because when you ain't got meat, you got quick fingers. Move real fast. Because I ain't stupid. I know how difficult you guys are to kill. I played with you in multiple games before. He does give more than 1 shot in a turn. Going for the rack, continuing on the pass. That is going to be an exploding 12. I'm going to roll it again. This is the 2 hit. So that is going to be another hit with a raise. He's going to try and shoot you again, Crow. This is continuing to ride and wheel and pass. That brings up. This is going to be a lot more in a total of 16 damage.
Yikes. Okay. I'll try to soak again. That's another Benny down, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to soak 9 or more, or anything more than 6 is good.
7.
That leaves you at a shaken result, which is okay.
But you haven't taken any wounds.
That's okay.
All right, shake it.
And that is going to be the end of the marshal's turn. So, got to redeal initiative for the one skeleton left alive, and the marshal, and the 2 of you.
All right, Crow, I'm going to deal you first again. Going to stick to the same order. For Crow,
The Jack.
Spades. Put that over here. For Trapper,
A Queen.
Queen of Diamonds. For the goon, not the marshal,
Dragoon.
Jack of Hearts.
Jack of Hearts.
For the marshal, not the goon,
Jack of Diamonds. What kind of Jack did Crow get again?
Jack of Spades.
So, funnily enough, our initiative order has not changed at all.
No, exact same.
Yep. Trapper, we're back to you.
Well, he's shooting at my friend Crow, and I can't have that, so I'm going to have to shoot at him.
Great. Will you go ahead and roll that? Merc tipped $20 and gave us the player, Benny. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I
Both
can
of you suckers.
myself with that, can't I?
I'm
You
going to be
can.
going for one of these specialty shots from the Savage Worlds book. This one is also a called shot, but it is to the opponent's limb or hand because I'm attempting the disarm shot.
Very good. I mean, yeah, right? Come on.
Because not just cowboys with 6 shooters can shoot the gun out of your hands.
Damn right.
I can do it with
So can really big bastards with really big bows.
Really big bows. I mean, I'm picturing this like to be like a full fucking Dark Souls style, like 8-foot long bow made of full iron. You gotta like stick a spike into the ground and just wrench. At this point, with the amount of damage you're doing.
doubling down. I am not only making that disarm, but I'm firing a second shot because I've got my improved trademark weapon, and I don't mind a little bit of a penalty when I've got a Benny or so to burn. But the second shot will be going at the horse that the marshal is riding.
Okay. Going for the horse skull.
So first shot is to disarm the marshal. And even with the penalty for the called shot, it's still going to be an 11 on the shot to disarm.
Okay, so how exactly do the rules for that work? I am curious.
The attacker rolls damage normally for an item. No raise effects or aces, see breaking things. And the defender needs to make a strength roll equal to the damage to maintain a hold on the item.
Okay. Go ahead and give me the damage for that disarm.
Because there's no raise effect, it's not as high a damage as it would have been shooting at him, but it's only going against a strength die to keep it. But that's still going to suck to be him.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're going to need a 19 on a strength dice to beat that.
That sucks. I am going to soak it because he is a wild card.
Yes, do it.
And use one of my bennies.
Oh, that's not damage to him. He just needs to beat a 19 on a strength dice.
Oh, so he doesn't actually take that damage.
He takes no
Okay.
damage. He just has to roll a 19 or higher on a strength dice, or his weapon is gone.
You know, he's not a weak skeleton, but he ain't got no meat on there.
Muscle.
I got a 6. So you loose the arrow, going
And-
straight for the straight into the receiver of the yellow boy, and it just sploosh pops right out of the hand and into the drink.
And against the horse, even with the penalty for multi-action, I'm still at an 8, which is a raise on a shooting test.
That is correct. Give me horse damage. Roll to kill bone horse.
You damage? Oh, you didn't just do damage. You just horse damage.
This is horse damage.
We're going to do 20 damage to the horse.
Horse skulls, bigger, thicker, stronger than human skulls. Yet nothing can hold itself, nay, steel itself against the power of your bow.
Yeah,
as
Trevor's bow's got
just-
like a 100-pound pull on it. He's not around.
No, this thing is crazy. As it just like, the front of the skull almost looks like it implodes and pulls into where the brain should have been as the horse collapses. And I'm going to do this. The agility on this character is very good, so I need that
From now
dice.
on, in my brain, you just have a Wookiee bowcaster.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. However, noticing that the horse is going down, the marshal is able to sort of, as the horse is coming down, sort of like step out and tumble to avoid getting absolutely shreked by the horse. And maintains footing, is not knocked prone or anything.
Good. Now we're both at ground level.
Yeah. Let's go, baby.
He falls. He like lands perfectly off that horse, and I'm right there.
Beautiful. So Trapper, I believe that is
fair fight. That's all. That's the end of my turn.
I don't think the fight was ever fair in the first place. Crow, we're down to your turn. What's up, boxing man?
I'm going to box that marshal.
Hell yeah. Give me some beatdowns.
I'm trying to hit him 2 times.
I was just trying to make it a fair fight.
I don't know how that turned out.
We're not even sure. So 8?
As it so happens, yes, that will beat the parry score.
Excellent.
To double check.
I have to double check. And damage for the first attack is 12, 17, 19.
Woof.
Now I try to fight again.
Okay, so 19 damage on the first one.
Yep.
I'm gonna give that sucker a soak.
Yeah, you're gonna. What? Wait. Because I got a 14 on the next attack. Just for hitting.
Okay. So doing some math, that would be 2 raises on the first one, and then also same on the second one. Yeah. So
21 on the second one for the second attack for your damage.
right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna soak the first one, or at least try. It was 19 damage on the first one.
If he's a wild card, he also has 1 Benny of his own too.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it was 19 and 21.
Yeah, 19. Partial soak 3 is enough to bring it down to the point where you only get a success and a raise. Second one's going to try and soak as well. Paint me a word picture of the destruction of the marshal.
I imagine, he goes for a couple, quick jabs, right? And then uppercut and haymaker right across the jaw just to spin the skull around. You know.
Oh, yes. Mwah. Perfect.
Like, cause he's going Queen's rules on this boxing. He's
Of course.
doing some dance, you know, through the water. It looks stupid. He looks stupid.
And
Fighting
yet,
bare-fisted.
and yet, it all works out. Yeah, no, I mean, the head goes for the spin, and then you didn't really have time to notice it before now. There is sort of this almost like internal luminescence somewhere in the eye sockets. Just very light, far back. It's a pretty minor thing. But on the third and final spin of the skull, as it comes back to rest at you, not only is the luminescence gone, but like half of the teeth have just spun out in various directions. And it just stands, teeters, collapses.
And right at the moment, right before it collapses, I reach back like I'm going to hit it again.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to assume that's the end of your turn. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Great.
Other than to deface the other one, just in case.
No, of course. You go for the face.
Dude, you bastard.
You bastard. The posse member, the deputy, as it were,
the one who did not
drops the one who this is the one you dunked into the water and then just walked away from. Tried to stab you. Absolutely no way that went off. This one just like immediately drops the Bowie knife and goes over to the just sort of like dives and like power slides through the water over to the marshal's double corpse and just like goes in for the cradle and just sort of sits there. Well, that's the Mook's turn.
Are you okay? You're gonna be all right, Sarge. Sarge, you're gonna make it.
Yeah, like you can see the jaw is miming words, but nothing is actually coming out.
Look over it, Trapper. I just vault over that last horse and like elbow drop that guy.
I am not even gonna make you roll for that. That was too good. Yeah, you just like straight up parkour over the horse, elbow drop, just clatter straight on top of the other skeleton, and then out. Other than the bone horse that you shot in the head, the other 6 are just standing there, totally stock.
I don't like killing live horses, and I certainly don't like killing dead ones. I'm going to start collecting Trapper's arrows, just like I usually do at this part of the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and give me... Hold on, double checking to make sure I'm going to name the right skill. That's the page. I did it right. Just on top of it, just for fun, go ahead and give me an investigation. And Trapper, what would you like to do while he's picking up the arrows?
I am also going to participate in recovering my arrows.
Great. You can also go ahead and give me an investigation for free.
And we might as well check the bodies while we're at
Oh,
it.
I was going to drag them all up to shore and go through anything that might be valuable, like a bounty or whatever.
Yep.
Well, oh wait, one of them gets to be a 6. Okay, never mind. I was doing that wrong. I heard up to. Well, all right.
I'm pretty terrible at investigation.
Totally fine.
Oh yeah, so am I, but I got a 7, so I'm feeling good about it.
Ooh!
That beats my 3.
You know, it might. So, Crow, as you're like going through and picking out the arrows, you notice in the inner breast pocket of because you know you got the inner breast pocket of the marshal, because you sort of have to like wrench off the other guy, because there's skeletons all over the place. You got to check all of them. Everybody got shot almost.
Intertwined that shouldn't be at this point.
Yeah, it's like, how did the rib do that? You're wearing clothing. You're all dressed. How did that hook like that? So as you like go to pull off the solemn, like, oh, my marshal, that bone man, you pull them off, and you notice as it sort of falls open, on the innermost left-hand breast pocket of the marshal seems to be a picture. And it's like a little very yellowed, sort of like, it almost looks like it was torn out of another book and then drawn over. You unfold it, and it looks to be a relatively crude drawing of the box that you have been carrying with a big red circle around it.
Hey, Trap.
Yeah.
This.
Hey, that's our box.
Well, no, but look. If you take away that big red circle, it is our box.
Yeah. How'd they know?
I don't know. Had to be tracking us somehow. Couldn't have done it across water. Let's see what else they got.
Okay.
Well, you find, as you just sort of like go through, a total of, between all of them, probably around 47 brews off, which is pretty good. Because, you know, it's fantasy 1890s or whatever at this point.
So I can buy what with that?
A lot. It's like $47 in the late 1800s. It's good money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Here, let me...
That'll let me live for a month just about anywhere. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah, of course. You could maybe more than a month. Let me double check, do a little conversion rate to see about how much I think that is. It's about $1,400 in today's money on Earth.
We could get you a new saddle for Susan.
You think she deserves one?
Yeah.
Nah. We get through this, maybe. If she behaves.
You also find what looks to be a total of 7 cap and ball black powder revolvers. The marshal, as it were, who you now identify as a marshal because they've got like a very simple sort of little clip. It looks like it was sort of a relatively basic, like 4-pointed star, but one of the sides has been like bent and another one is chipped off, and it's like super corroded. But it has, with some thought, what's you would guess is probably the word marshal in the center of it.
Well, I'm going to keep that and polish it up and pose as a police officer as often as possible.
Beautiful. I will note, it is an antique.
If you didn't take it, I was gonna.
Oh, well, here you go. Trap. Yeah.
I pin it on.
Yeah, you do. It looks great, I guess. So yeah, you find the 8 revolvers because the marshal had 2 of them, everybody else had 1, and then you find the yellow boy repeater as well as, 20-year-old, or probably closer to like 25 at this point, 25-year-old, like lawman uniforms, the yellow boy repeater. Yellow boys is like a real thing. The repeater, as well as, yeah, the hat and the big old thick duster.
Nice. Well,
You'd be willing to bet wearing this duster would give you 1 to your armor rating.
I could probably use that.
Yeah, it's thick leather.
But how does it look on me? That's very important. I'm gonna try and see if I can handle the smell.
First of all, it looks great. Second of all, skeletons don't sweat, and the meat rotted off a long time ago, so it's actually just like sun-baked leather smell.
Well, all right. And that hat, too.
Yeah, I mean, like big one side folded up, sort of, wide-brimmed style hat. It's got.
When he puts on the duster and hat, I take off the badge and go and pin it on him instead.
Just right back on where it was on the duster.
This is better.
You want to wear it?
No. This looks right.
We could take turns. It's all right. Can't play sheriff every day, can I?
I could be your deputy.
Deputy Trapper. Deputy Crow. One of them definitely has a nicer ring to it. Sheriff Trapper. Sheriff Crow. Oh, that one has a better ring to it as well. Trapper, I don't think it's fair. I have a much nicer name than you do.
I know.
This is not on you, my friend. Not on you at all.
I never shot a rifle out of a man's hand before.
I start now that everything has been taken from them. I start taking off, leg bones here and there, and running across the field a bit with them and sticking them in the ground in case this thing decides to put itself back together and chase us some more.
Okay, yeah. No, I love that. You spend like the next 30 minutes next hour just disassembling skeletons and just sticking them in various inconvenient places.
More than 50 feet apart,
While he is doing that, I am unsuccessfully attempting to get the undead horses to get.
You you go up, you slap one on the ass, it walks like 2 steps and then stops.
Can they be led?
Yeah, I mean if you give it an attempt, you grab the lead from off of the neck and it'll come with you completely willingly.
Backpack.
I don't know.
But we don't even have to feed it, Trap.
Backpack.
Nope, we're leaving it here. Undead horse is talked. I'm done. I set down the lead and I walk away from it.
Totally, it stays right there.
Cisco would get jealous.
Susan would try to breed it. He's just a bastard that way.
I think Susan needs to learn a lesson about what the phrase bone down means. It's not meant to be taken strictly literally. Come on.
Susan is the stupidest stallion that ever was.
Yes, he is. And we love him.
He likes to drink. They call him the Hennessy Stud.
Beautiful. So, for reference, in case it should come up, you also find what looks to be 7 distinct powder horns, as well as a bandolier for cartridges of the repeater, but it's not really your style.
I'm still taking all of this stuff.
Are the powder
absolutely.
horns full?
They're all around 2/3 full.
Okay.
once you figure out you stop having to eat, you don't waste a lot of shots hunting things.
So we'll take 3 full powder horns after redistributing the powder.
Sounds right. Sounds good.
The guns we can sell. The nice thing about guns is they don't particularly lose their value over time like some things do if they're in good shape.
It's true. And these are actually impeccably well taken care of.
Yeah, I'll make sure that they'll continue to be well taken care of until we get them into a town somewhere.
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but they are well functioning. You know firsthand that at least the rifle shoots well.
Yeah.
Well functioning, 20 years old, impeccable condition. They're solid as far as the firearms market would be considered in fantasy 1890.
I never tried a shot like that before. I seen it when you took me to that Wild West show.
Well, it certainly put ideas in your head, didn't it? But it's only once in a lifetime you get to see Bison Bob alive and in the flesh.
He was really neat.
Hold on, I gotta write down Bison Bob. Beautiful.
I didn't know it would work on a rifle. Bison Bob did it with pistols.
You did it with an arrow trap. With an arrow. I don't think anyone's done that. Not even Robin Hood. Mostly because I don't think Robin Hood could pull back your bow. I know. I can barely do it.
Little English fop.
Unbelievable.
For game statistics' sake, it actually is a longbow, so it is a big full-size bow.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna assume it's like on the upper echelon, like between 90 and 100-pound draw, because you're on some shit with that. I'm just gonna go on record that those shots are on some shit. And at that, as you pack your things up, get everything you need, and start to head onwards towards the city, I think this is a great time to take a little break as far as the timing goes.
Let's do that.
Let's do it. I'll be back in like 10.
I'll probably be back for that, so I'll see everybody back here in a few minutes.
Too right.
Shortly, guys.
Have fun, kids.
Stay tuned.
Don't go nowhere. Run.
Hey. It's just me. Guys? Guys?
Oh, well, I'm never back first. Isn't this fancy? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you weren't.
Hey, Tristan.
How you doing?
I'm gonna go futz with my light while we're waiting to get at least a little more out of it.
A little
I'm
light
dark as hell. It's something. It's something. Burp.
It's the TARDIS. Duh.
It is a TARDIS.
Yeah.
It's really heavy, but here.
Hey, I know that box.
Yes. Maggie got it for a Secret Santa gift during our Christmas play one year.
Oh.
It's from Bruce. Bruce Hoffman made it.
And yes,
Nice.
there's also a sock behind him, but not just any sock.
Not
Yes.
just any sock.
Right, it's Mr. Sacco.
That's a signed Mr. Sacco from
Genuine.
Mick Foley himself.
Well, but the present itself was from Larry and Misty.
That's true.
They got Mick Foley to sign that for me, and they had him send a video in for my wedding, and it was really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It was very sweet. I saw it. There. All right, fancy. Well, I guess we're back. So, things that happened in the first half of this stream. Y'all got up, still in the weird floodplains. Noticed you were about a day away from what seemed to be your city destination. Saw the skeleton bone man posse that Corella was warning about, a couple sessions back. And absolutely annihilated those nerds. Just out. Bones shattered all across the board. And it was beautiful, I think.
It's pretty impressive.
It was beautiful. And now, having looted the bodies and gotten the horses back together,
And dug up
ready
the
to
box.
continue. Yes, and having dug up the box, as is tradition, that box is always hid. You also, I should mention, just because it's important, noted that they seem to be aware that you had the box for some reason. We are talking about the living horses. The dead horses did not want to move. They just kind of stood there, unless they were led intentionally. And one of them talked, and that was a bad vibe.
Crow was done. He was like, yeah, maybe let's take one of these. No.
No.
Yeah, you might want to wash that mud off yourself, Trap.
Oh, yeah. I start cleaning up. Should also be important to note that unlike other groups that tend to have to carry a package as part of their mission, at no point has opening the box or knowing what's in the box mattered to Trapper or Crow.
Or Crow, right? They just don't care.
Even now, when someone's looking for it and it's obvious that like there's something valuable and important, still didn't even pass our minds once to open the box and see what it is.
I'm kind of bummed I don't get to keep that undead horse. I was totally going to name him Artax. So,
you know, that's the way it goes. We all get swamped sometimes. Anyway. Sorry.
I liked it.
Thank you.
So yeah, we clean up and loot and spread bones throughout the land and then make our way.
Hucking bones.
I'm just going to go ahead and head out and leave the skeletal horses behind.
Yep. You get all your things together after an hour of spreading bones and looting things, and they're just still standing there. And as you note, just finally pulling away from the hill, you hear just a little bit somewhere off in the distance. Well, I guess we should go back now. And then the sploosh of multiple hooves moving through the water.
Huh.
Also, for note, for the chat, because it's part of the recap, the bone people couldn't talk, but apparently the bone horses can. Magic is a fickle thing.
It's true.
I am a bit shaken.
Oh, there he goes.
He's gone now. Yeah, so let's get moving. We have no interest in what this was about.
Yep, absolutely. You get the stuff together. You presumably having, when you were putting it together, grabbed some of the like the saddle holster for the rifle.
Oh yeah, anything that was of value. Like if their saddle is better than my saddle, I'm taking their saddle.
Yeah, you could absolutely trade up. 100%, because these are, they're worn, but they're much like the firearms, kept in relatively impeccable condition. So
I don't, because Cisco is really picky about saddles.
And I don't care what Susan thinks. He's an asshole.
Susan also doesn't care what you think. Susan, he thinks you're an asshole, frankly.
He's right, though. We're both right.
And that's why you get along so well at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Sense of mutual understanding. Yeah.
He's my third best friend. Next to Trapper and Lefty.
Beautiful. So, as you push onward, the actual travel to getting over to the the city itself seems relatively simple. It's just a lot more stepping and a lot more lungfish frogs. Just keeping out of the way in the same old.
They eat.
Now I've got a rifle that works a bit like a cricket bat on those frogs, though. So.
Oh yeah, nice wide stock. Just boink. Send him a. Give me an athletics check.
Okay, but I should warn you, I'm really good at this game. And
I know. This is just for fun.
Yeah, I got a 6.
It's a solid launch. You know, it's like you got a good form. It's water polo essentially.
I'm ankle deep in this stuff. I mean,
it's a mixture between normal polo because you're on a horse and water polo because you're in the water.
Right.
And you just go in for like a solid golf swing and you just over a hill somewhere off to your left. Frankly, beautiful. Excellent form.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. You get a weird sense. There's obviously a sense of self-satisfaction internally from you, but you just feel a little more satisfied with that toss. It's like,
all right.
Yeah, that was pretty damn good.
Wonder who else is following us. Wonder if they're skin.
First thought that comes to you, probably some nerds. Ain't got to try nothing.
Why would they? Nerds.
Maybe the talking dead horses will scare them off.
Maybe. No, the other men that they came with rode on the talking horses, so no.
Yeah.
Wouldn't make any sense. Why would you send a bunch of people if you won't even talk to them because you're afraid of their horses?
One would do well to be afraid of a skeleton horse that talks in a deep voice.
Yep.
So, you continue onward for the next several hours. It's a solid 8 hours of travel until you get there. The sun is going down. It's a warm time of year, so the day is longer.
I just hope there's dry ground here for the horses.
Yeah. And the water has been getting slowly lower and lower. You're only down to about 6 inches of water by the time you get to where you're going. And you see, cresting just one more hill, as the sun starts to slowly creep towards the horizon, silhouetted in front of it, this large, beautiful tower. You can't make good visuals of the detail out of it because obviously it's like right in front of the sun up at the top, but it's very tall, obviously probably somewhere between like 300 and 500 feet tall.
100 a building. Whatever, man.
And it seems relatively scrawny, and it's got this sort of like very strange, almost jutting architecture where it doesn't go up in this single coherent line, but it sort of like pulls forth and then wraps back and then comes out at a very particular angle. It almost looks like this was, somebody trying to draw a straight line, drunk off their ass with their left hand during an earthquake. With their offhand during an earthquake. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I should be so rude. We got a left-hander in the player group. Even that's 2 of them. And then you see continuing to crest over the hill, taking note of this tower with the sun just behind it. What looks to be in this passage between these two beautiful snow-tipped mountains, absolutely massive. Immediately visible is a large stone wall, probably around, you'd guess now that you're getting much closer, probably around maybe 100 feet tall, maybe closer to 70 feet. Large portcullis right in the center, but it's a pretty much straight line, you know, proper crenellations and battlements and everything up at the top. Pretty much a straight line between the foothills of these two mountains, which would make it very difficult for a marching land-based army to get into the city proper. As you can see looking forward, there are a handful of buildings that sort of like poke up and have the tops of them poking over the top of this wall, as you can see from this hilltop that you are descending down.
What's the compass say?
Straight to the tower. If you take a moment to let it settle, absolutely, and even move it back and forth, looks like it's pointing straight at that tower.
Huh. Bad news, Trap.
After the last couple of weeks, I kind of figured.
Now, on the upside, we might get to sleep inside.
In that?
You'd sleep in that?
No.
Nor would I, my friend. Nor would I. And yet, onward we go.
Let's try and find a way in this wall.
Sure. Yeah.
So there are two obvious ways forward, as it were. You can try and climb the mountain up around the side of the wall, which would pretty much force you to leave the horses behind unless you can get that portcullis open. Or you can try and find a way to open the portcullis from this side. Those are the very obvious, immediately visible options.
Let's take a closer look at this portcullis thing.
Yeah. Might as well get a good look at it.
Maybe somebody's in there and they'll open the door for us.
Off we go, then. Fair
enough. So, yeah, you pull up and you see there is obviously what was at one point a moat. It is currently full of water, as the water is still here, but there is actually an active stone bridge currently sort of leaning over it that is, in fact, not broken for once. Unlike the last place you were with a big old river and stone bridges.
How is this for luck? A bridge to go somewhere. First one we've seen.
That's a good sign, right?
Ooh, I don't know. Could be bad. Might be a trap. Trap. Let's go then.
I'll go first.
Great.
Why would you? You know what? I'm going to go with you.
Trapper, go ahead and give me an investigation. You can do the same as well, Crow, if you would like.
Right. We'll see how this goes.
I didn't do too terrible that time with my -2. I have a 6.
Very nice.
I also have a 6.
Very nice. Yeah, looks fine.
I'm a notice guy, not an investigation guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks fine.
And I'm not really either.
I mean, you can see like various places of wear. There's like a part of the sort of like railing or whatever you might call it, the ridge of stonework of masonry over to the right-hand side is like crumbled off a bit and goes down into the moat. But you know, you take a look at it, give it a prod even with the butt of the rifle if you feel necessary. Seems totally stable.
All right, let's do it.
You do it, and suddenly,
you're
on the other side of the bridge.
See what you did there, you dirty bastard.
Yeah. Cheers. So you make your way to the other side of the bridge, and you see the portcullis proper. It is large, almost up to the full height of this wall, which you are now relatively sure is probably around 100 feet tall up to the top.
Wow.
The portcullis goes up almost the whole way, truthfully enough. And it's very much obviously like old, rusted iron. There are like chunks of it that are missing, but nothing that is actually big enough for you to squeeze through without being relatively confident that you would gut yourself.
No, don't much want to gut myself.
Yeah. Tetanus is a real rat bastard.
Let me see that rifle.
You gonna break it?
I'm not going to try to break it.
Is it over?
I'm gonna. You look for one of those gaps that's that you're talking about. It's just not quite big enough, but it has pieces broken out of it. And one of the broken bars, the portcullis, I'm gonna use the rifle and kind of lever it against one of the other bars to push it open and make the gap wider.
Trap, I have a crowbar.
Oh.
I'm going to assume that he just starts to get that into place right as you say that, so we're not risking the rifle.
Okay. If possible, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me an athletics check. You will have a bonus from it being a crowbar, but I'm going to warn you, there's a big... It's not going to be easy.
It's also got a huge minus. A giant minus.
Yes, there's a big minus in the back of my head.
Okay. Let's give it a go.
I'll even write it down so I can put it in front of the thing.
So far, I've had 3 exploding dice. Unfortunately, 2 of them were on the first roll, so they don't add up together. They're separate. But now I've got 4 exploding dice.
It's this. It's a -8 is what you get to try and do this.
Well, even subtracting 8, I still got a 12 on that with the crowbar. Because it's a crowbar with an E. That's why.
Right. No, of course. Of course.
Yep.
Why would I have ever thought otherwise?
Score another one for Trapper and Crowbar.
Yeah. I mean, you as you go in to wrench it, you actually feel the thicker, bristlier hair that has come into your forearms sort of start to like pipe up, and you feel your veins sort of almost start to fill, and you get to wrench it sort of into a non-dangerous, as it's like this single big ol' like strut with a big jagged edge, and it's obviously absolutely coated in rust. But you're able to wedge it down into a, like sort of a like fold over non-dangerous position that clears you out some room. So the horses can't get through, but the 2 of you definitely can.
Let's see if we can find a way to open it.
Yeah. Leave the horses to pasture for now.
But take the box.
Yeah. Man, Trap, when did you get so strong?
I don't know. It kind of just... It happened.
I'm just saying, I should have done it. It's not called a Trapper bar.
You're right. I'm sorry, Crow.
No, it's all right. I feel good about it. The apprentice has become the master. Oh! All right, let's see if we can find the opening mechanism for this portcullis.
Yep.
Oh, boom.
So you clamber up just a little bit. It's like about 10 feet up, and it's a big old like square grated portcullis, so you can clamber up pretty easily. And then squeeze through and clamber down the other side. No issue. Sorry, I was looking at chat. So
Shh, it's them. That's not allowed to happen, by the way.
no, I not. No intent.
I will not be all right.
No, you brought these horses with you. The horses are sacred ground as far as I'm concerned. So you come up and over and clamber through, and you see that you are, in a large city where, unlike the ruins that you have previously traveled through during your journey here, which obviously had like stone foundations and were stone up to a certain point, a majority of these buildings are hewn gray stone brick. So they're in a lot better condition. They're a lot more whole and structurally still stable than the two towns that you had blown through on your way here. You see on either side of the portcullis are, passageways, and there's this sort of walkway right above you with, small holes that would probably be used to rain down hell from archers from above if anybody tried to bust through the portcullis. You look up, see the holes, notice you are not full of arrows, so that's probably good.
Yeah.
It's good to not get shot.
And now that we've thought about that after the fact, we will probably not make a note of it.
I don't know.
Probably
I just like
not.
castles.
Poor stupid trapper and crow.
You look up, you notice that. And you see that around you, the sort of like the city wall around the portcullis is, sort of expanded outward and made of slightly thicker brick, it seems. And these are probably, it's a gatehouse, properly. So, you have generally a lot of people in a gatehouse, which is the entrance to a castle, so that if the gate itself is broken down, you still have defenders at the ready there. So this is a large gatehouse, and your best guess would be that it would probably somewhere hold controls to the mechanism that would open the portcullis.
All right.
Guess we go up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Go. Yeah.
Confidently.
Yes. Well, there is a entrance to your left and to your right. It looks like they are door frames, and there are even old rusted hinges, but whatever wooden door used to be there is not there anymore.
There's no door.
There is no door.
I was going to knock, but now I'm going to peek. Very slowly as I shout, "Hello!"
You take a look up in there. Pretty much pitch black. It looks like directly on the other side of that door are stone steps going upwards. Sort of going around in a spiraled, right-hand direction from the way you're facing. I gotta remember. Ethan knows a thing or two about castle defense design. So what are you gonna do?
I guess brag.
Yeah, I guess. So spirals going up on the right-hand way. Thanks, Ellis. Good to see you here. I got one of my boys giving me support. I got to acknowledge him. You know how it is.
Who's that? Who's that?
That's Ellis.
Oh, hey, Ellis. Is he upset that you're spending your Friday night playing D&D with two old men?
I think he's come to accept it.
Good.
Yeah. So, going up through this right-hand spiral, if you would like to push upward, I should say, before you do that, again, it is pretty much pitch black after, the sunlight coming in from the open doorway, gives way into darkness. Very dangerous.
That's okay.
Yeah. Can't you see in the dark, bud?
Close enough. I'm going to start going up the stairs.
You step into the stairs. Do you follow behind Crow, or do you give him a wide berth?
Not too wide a berth. I mean, I got to be able to. I can't see him, so I'm just going to keep my hand on his lower back.
Right. Yeah. Trapper, after
I'm using the wall to guide myself up.
Yeah. You are going up and guiding the wall, and it is still pretty much pitch black. You came in from sunset with the sun pointing towards your eyes. But after a little while, your eyes both start to adjust. Crow, you get just very minor outlines of things, because there's a bit, like, every now and then there's, like, a very small window, like a, you know, an outline, something you could shoot out of, but it'd be very difficult to shoot back into. But Trapper, you sort of, your eyes adjust a bit further. So it's still not very bright for you, but it's sort of that...
that about covers both of us, actually. Not very bright.
Yeah. Not very bright. Whereas Trapper, you are getting sort of like a forest under full moon starlight. Crow, you're just getting like vague, very vague outlines of things. And you continue to push up the stairs for a little ways.
I can see. I can see.
Well, how nice for you.
I guess. It's strange.
It's really not. You're part wolf now. I always assumed they could see better than we could.
I guess so.
We just did science, Trap. Science.
I'm so proud of my boys. Grow up so fast. So, after a little while, coming up this staircase for, you know, I mean, it's not very long. It takes like a minute and a half going at, like, you know, careful, it's dark, can't quite see the steps carefully thing. It takes like a minute and a half. You go up a little ways. Probably around to the level just under the top would be your guess. And as you break through the top of this staircase, you see that there are a handful of stones at the top and along the sides that have fallen through or something of that nature. There are missing stones. So both of you can sort of get a dim visual of what is actively going on. You see... Sorry, go on.
Trap.
Yeah.
It's really quite dark.
I know.
Would it be all right if I lit the lantern now?
Oh, yeah. I forgot you had one.
I've got one for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a minute because, you know, you'd like... There it is. And you both see a very relatively similar thing. It's much the same as the rest of what you have seen of the city. It seems to be made of the same stone brick. It's this large, wide, flat, low ceiling, probably around like only like a 7-foot high ceiling. Almost hallway going back and forth, probably around like 30 feet wide, which is the thickness of the wall you have now determined. About 30 feet wide, this long, flat hallway just going through the whole thing. And you know, have the various things so you can get little bits of light pouring in, and you've got the murder holes in the floor. And you see some piles of obviously old wood, because it's obviously a lot drier in here than it was outside. So you can see the remnants of some old containers that seem to be filled with what are now just arrowheads. You can only see arrowheads, and they're all sort of crowded to one side. And then,
Huh.
you know, various.
It used to be arrows, but the wood rotted.
Yes, and the feathers.
And the feathers.
Indeed. So, as you continue poking around, not only seeing those, there are, you know, various windows facing.
Obviously, the 1950s and 60s, Aaron.
These look to be iron arrowheads, just straight iron. Sorry, Merc asked if they were stone or metal arrowheads in the chat. So they are
specific
metal.
Straight iron.
Straight iron.
Which apparently is very deadly towards gay fae.
It's true. God, I mean, one look and I'm out. So, continuing ever onward, you also notice what looks to be a few piles of refuse that were probably once like chairs, tables, maybe benches of some sort. And going down a little bit, a wall, and on the other side, a wall. Both of them having, once again, the same sort of like, there was probably a door here at one point, but there are still hinges, but whatever wood the door was made of has long rotted away.
Which way is the compass pointing?
Still in the direction of the tower, not down either of those halls.
We got to figure out how to get the horses inside.
Yeah, we just have to lift this gate. Should be here. It's a gate.
Oh, that is one other thing to note. You can visibly see the top of the gate on the western side, which is the side that you came from. It's this, you know, relatively simple curved top poking up through a slit in the floor, and there is a matching, like, pretty wide slit up at the top. So it's obviously designed in a way that it is supposed to go up and through and poke out of the top of the wall.
But judging by that, the mechanism should be in the gatehouse, right?
Yes. So why don't you both go ahead and give me notice checks? Just for me. That is the obvious things in this dark and dreary place.
Okay.
7.
11.
Okay, so with the rays, that is going to be enough because it is dark in here, even with your fantastic night eyes and with the lantern. It's dark and things are covered in refuse. You find what looks to be a lot of chain work, sort of like going up and going through metal pulleys, which look to be relatively rusted, but you'd be willing to bet that they might still spin. There's something about the construction of them that seems to be relatively corrosion resistant, though the chain is probably still steel or iron, as that is rusted.
The weight
and
of
they
the
seem to
break up for that.
Yeah, they seem to go up along the sides and then pull outward towards either of the two walls with the doors.
Say that again?
The chain follows along the side of the portcullis, going up. Excuse me, there we go. And then going outward, each side going to one of the two far walls with the doorways.
There must be mechanisms on the other side.
Why wouldn't it be on this side?
I don't know.
Okay, I guess we go check the other gatehouse.
It's either going into the walls or an extension of the gatehouse. You're not entirely sure from the inside. Would you like to go to the north or the south side first, just for fun?
Whichever way the chains go.
One goes each way.
You take the lantern and go north, and I'll go south.
All right.
Great. Both of you, pretty much in sequence, go through the doors, see what looks to be sort of a more, probably laid out to be a little bit more of like a R&R section of this area. Your best guess is people would be on guard duty in the wall for quite a while and probably like take shifts while still being here. This seems to be somewhere people would, you know, chill out, most likely. Remnants of chairs and remnants of tables, and even like, for some reason, in each, a perfectly pristine chaise lounge.
Nice. Are there any giant chain mechanisms in this room?
As it so happens, there seem to be this on both sides. Both of you see like these very complex sort of levers with like release catches. Like there's a part you have to squeeze on to pull it.
Right.
And both of you see that, and they are attached to these very complex
kind of deal.
Come again?
It's a one cog at a time kind of deal with the lever.
You haven't tried it, but as far as you can tell, it's still a very complex system.
Is there one on the other side?
Yes, you're both aware of that. I'm going to assume that in character, you guys are hollering back and forth.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So that you're sharing this information. Yeah. So you are aware that both of you are seeing the same thing, one on each side.
What do we do?
Well, we count to 3 and we give it a little tug.
Okay. After 3 or on 3?
What do you mean?
Do we do 1, 2, 3, go, or 1, 2, go?
3. Yeah, I was thinking, 1, 2, 3. Really, on 3.
Beautiful.
1,
2, 3.
Both of you give me athletics checks.
We're the worst, James.
I mean, that was good.
It was Lethal Weapon 2.
Yes, it was. Theirs is funnier because there's a toilet involved.
My big die is always screwing up on me, and my wild die is just kicking ass today. 15.
Me 7.
Either way, both of you are able to sort of overcome the corrosion in the mechanism and just sort of like
stupid strong.
You're also both stupid strong. So you you're able to get the catch into place and then push it down at approximately the same time, and you hear a thunk, a screech, and then a very slow as it picks up, and you hear the screeching sound of metal being ground against stone, and you sort of presumably go to look, and you can tell that the portcullis is actively moving at speeds directly upward.
Great. I am running back to my horse.
Great. Yeah, you guys are both sprinting down.
We don't expect it.
Ooh, what's this called? What's this called? Hey, can I get some acrobatics checks?
You can get athletics check.
Yep.
Sounds right. Yeah, sorry, I'm double checking. That is the best thing. If I could get both of you to make me athletics checks, because you are now running down unfamiliar stairs, which are oriented in a spinning manner, so they're not even in the dark.
Right, whilst carrying an oil lantern. I understand. This is a terrible idea.
This is a terrible idea. It's important, because you have definitely scared your horses.
How
100%.
will a 9 do me?
Success with a raise, just fine.
All right.
I
How much?
got 5.
Okay. So Crow, you are not going to eat shit and fall down the stairs because you still succeeded, but you are going to lose a little time. However, Crow, you made the success with the raise.
Yeah, I surfed down that thing, cartoon Tarzan style.
Yeah, you grab one of the busted goddamn lids to the chests with the arrowheads in them, and you just like slam it down all the way down. Yeah, it's beautiful. You go down, you slide straight, go for the perfect curve, kicking up dust in this beautiful like wave fashion as you turn, and you see the horses freaking out.
I hang 9. I don't want to talk about it.
Fair enough. The horses are freaking out, and they are starting to like situate leaving. What would you like to do?
Wait, which horse's name?
Cisco.
Cisco. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was called.
Yeah, we got Cisco and Susan, the S squad.
I'm like, Cisco, easy girl, easy girl. Susan, shut the fuck up.
Oh, beautiful. That's so choice. Give me a persuasion at a +4 because you know these horses, and that was hilarious. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, I'll have you know, I recently purchased persuasion, and so I no longer have a minus to it.
Oh,
Yeah, moving up in the world of Croways, isn't it?
oh yeah.
This stupid wild dice screwed me that time, though. 7.
Oh, 7 is good.
No, I rolled a 7, so I get a
Oh,
plus.
so you get up to an 11.
11.
Yeah. The horses immediately, they know your soothing touch and your angry voice, and they immediately know that everything is fine. And the screeching comes with a solid just slam and a stop. And the portcullis is now fully open.
We too. Come on, then. And I lead both the horses through as quickly as I can. Just in case
absolutely.
It wants to come back down real fast.
That's what I'm worried about.
Makes sense. Yeah, so you're able to lead the horses in relative speed. It seems to be holding. It's like very uncomfortably, you can see from below, like waving back and forth long ways. Sorry, excuse me. So like the flat side is going like back and forth. There we go. Like the palm of the hand. But it seems stable as far as you can tell.
That's
Just
not
for some reason, there's a big old chain drive and a clutch in there, which is probably the weirdest thing that you've seen so far, all things considered.
Yeah, that's some mighty fine engineering.
Yeah. Old, functional.
I guess we go to the tower now.
Absolutely. So you start making your way through the town to the tower. It's very, as far as the buildings go, it's very densely populated. The buildings are tall, like upwards of, usually, like every building you're seeing is at least 3 stories tall at the minimum. And they're all a very similar stone construction. There are lots of old flourishes, lots of, beautiful carvings of like humanoid figures and like classical grotesques or gargoyles or something of that sort, but they're all chipped and weather-worn and old. As you pass through and through, night has properly fallen now that you have dealt with this situation. And as you're going through, you hear a small sound off in the distance. Can I get the both of you to make me notice checks to see if you can get anything more than just like that low droll of you definitely are hearing something, but you're not sure what it is?
5.
Got a 5.
15.
Got a 15. So you are definitely, Crow, confident that you hear something, and it sounds like something clacking on stone. Just off in the distance, very, very quietly, like a. It's very consistent. Trapper, you are relatively certain that that is the sound of countless small animals beaten feet along the cobblestones, probably towards the sound of something going on.
We should hide. There's trouble coming.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to duck down an alley and try and hide ourselves in the horses. Maybe even find a way inside if the horses can fit. And there's no doors like everywhere else.
Makes sense. Yeah, there are plenty of doorways that are large enough that the horses would be able to fit through if you did one at a time. There's a handful of buildings near you. Ones that they could fit into. Looks like a large, relatively boxy building, possibly some sort of like warehouse, something of that nature. One tall and narrow, probably going up to like 6 stories, would be your guess. And then a third one that you can see immediately from where you are on the street with a door that is big enough for the horses. That one looks to be squat, like probably only like 10 feet tall in total, and then very, very small and sloping down. It seems to be access to something underground.
We're going to go to that one.
Yeah, that might be for the best. Let's make a break for it.
Absolutely. You start hoofing it, and the horses start to run or gallop. They don't hoof it because that's too on the nose. So you start going directly down into this underground sort of situation, and you hear the pitter-pattering, just getting closer and closer and closer. And you are able to bust through last second, as you can tell from the sound changes you go in. Whatever that is, or those are, came around some sort of street corner and are coming in this direction. And you go down and down and down into the dark. You may light your lantern again if you would like to.
Probably a good idea. I hadn't unlit it yet, so...
Oh, that makes sense. You were totally focused on making sure the horses didn't panic. So that actually makes sense that you would forget that and leave it lit.
We're just going to cover it up some so it doesn't shed a ton away.
No, it's a bullseye. It'll be fine. It'll just
Oh, okay.
in the right direction.
Oh, cool, cool.
It's in for some reason that same kit that crowbar was in for no good reason.
Who could say? Who could say?
They are liberation tools.
Mm-hmm. Dirty deeds done
For profit.
relatively low cost.
You basically just read our card verbatim.
Yeah. Dirty deeds done at discount rates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So both of you make me stealth checks. And I am going to do some horse stealth checks. Let me find horse statistics. Because I know for a fact that they're in here, because I've seen them before. And I will assume that you were able to sort of like suckle the horses into being chill.
Yeah, I want to use my riding skill to persuade Cisco to be a little quieter since I'm a horseman.
And I want to use a sugar cube to calm Susan, and if not, then my fighting skill.
Okay.
He bites. I know I've said that. He bites.
Yeah, no, of course. Fighting skill to get the sugar cube in there and then just not get bit.
Mm-hmm. That's how Crow knew he had mastered Kung Fu. When you can put a sugar cube in Susan's mouth without her biting your fucking hand.
Damn right. So what did you get on the riding to make Cisco more chill? I'm going to...
Stealth. My stealth is a 10. And my roll for assisting Cisco is a 9.
It's going to be a success with a raise. So I'm going to give Cisco a +1 for each success and raise for this assist, because Cisco is a horse. But you're also doing a good job.
I got a 9 on my stealth. And
beautiful.
And on my calming Cisco.
I'm also going to assume that these horses are wild cards.
Oh, I didn't pay for that if that's the case.
No, just that, you know, these horses have been with you through the whole journey, and they're named, and they have personalities, so I think they would count as wild cards, so I'm going to give them the wild dice.
We could kill them off in the second reel, and you could see us cry.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's the way he does it.
Yeah, Cisco got an explosion on the 6.
It's funny because it's true.
You make us love something and then you make us cry.
We like to have fun here. Cisco got an 11.
Susan got double ones. Susan is sucking. Can Susan spend a Benny? Maybe one of mine?
Yeah, you can spend your bennies on Susan. Given they are wild cards, but they are under your control and not mine, I will allow it.
Oh, good. 8. It's way better than...
Yeah, it's way better.
Ruby.
Beautiful. Yeah, so all 4 of you are able to, as quietly as the horse's hooves will permit on stone flooring, just tickety-tack, down and down.
Maybe thinking we're counting into a song or something and won't hear it.
There you go. You hear full blast, just the sound reverberating as it passes next to the door, but not following. The sound of squeaks and yowls like a cat in heat, and dogs yipping and barking, and various other animalistic noises just in this dreadful cacophony all squished together. It passes by for 30 seconds of you just trying to sit in silence as the sound just blasts down this tunnel as it passes by. Until it suddenly gets a little bit quieter, and then a little bit quieter, as whatever was making that cacophony of animal sounds continues on down the street.
Uh-oh. Crow. I think maybe the portcullis was to keep them in.
Trap, you may very well be right. But here's the thing. I don't care. If they leave the place that we're going to, I do not have to deal with them.
I guess you're right. There's plenty of frogfish for them to eat.
Right. Whatever they are. We don't know that that wasn't just one thing with 1,000 mouths that all squeak at the same time. And frankly, I don't want to know. So maybe we let them out. Maybe they get to leave the city and wander the wasteland and die. Oh, no.
You're smart, Crow.
See, if it's not directly in our path, it's not directly our problem.
Yeah.
Until we have to see the consequences and inevitably fix them, which of course makes it our problem. But that won't happen this time, even though it's happened literally every other time before. This is the one, Trap. This is the one.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Maybe we rest here for the eve?
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. And it might be a bit early, but I, as the game master, think story beat wise, this is probably the best place for us to call it for the night. What do you guys think?
We are only with 10 minutes left, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, things have happened. Things have occurred. You have gotten into the final destination. This is the end of the penultimate episode of Couriers. The next episode will be the finale.
Yep, won't be next Friday because we'll be participating in Gen Con Live, everyone.
Woo-woo.
Make sure.
I know of at least one face on this screen that you may be seeing at Gamers Live this year.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and hint, it's not mine.
Oh,
so take a look.
This one?
I'm not saying anything to anyone. Could be, or
I guess it could be me.
I guess.
I guess that there's got a metaverse special that's going to be coming out on Saturday the 1st. It's going to be some good stuff, so you guys really don't want to miss it. There's some great things. I mean, I guess the Demon Hunters game's already sold out, so if you haven't already registered for those, then you missed out. But there's all kinds of stuff that you can do at Gen Con Live, and
there are over 6,000 live events.
Yeah, I mean, there's something for everyone, no matter what it is that you're into when it comes to gaming.
Go to all of them, so pick now, pick wisely. It'll be a lot of fun. There's tons of people doing tons of things. I was not super excited about it, but now I am, even though Gamers Live might be the single most stressful Gamers Live I've ever had to do, just because I don't have that, giant audience to do all my work for me.
Yeah. It's going to be a really different metaverse episode. I mean, it's dealing with a lot of new things. So you won't want to miss it, though. We've come up with a really great idea for this particular metaverse episode. And for those of you that are masters of the metaverse fans, it won't be taking place as part of the ongoing season we've been doing, so you don't need to worry about that. Which, hey, speaking of, Monday is this season finale for Masters of the Metaverse, Dreams and Nightmares. That's the big one. That to find out it's going to be a wild one, and then we'll tell you about what's going to happen next after that. But there's some big metaverse announcements.
On Monday after the show, we've got a big announcement about Masters of the Metaverse and the future of that show.
Yep, huge announcement. So make sure you're there for that if you're a Metaverse fan. If you're not a Metaverse fan, you still probably want to be there for that, I promise. But anyway, we love all of you guys. Any other streams, shows, or activities we want to plug?
Don't forget, Void Jumpers is back on Wednesdays.
Yeah, Void Jumpers is back. Those guys are great.
Yep, still got DG Game Night happening on Tuesdays. You can occasionally catch some of us on that as well.
Yep.
Obviously, we do Masters of the Metaverse on Mondays, and we hear Game Night might be coming back.
Yeah, Game Night's coming back in August. Sharon and Bryce are going to be bringing it back. And, just because the next Couriers is the last episode for this particular run doesn't mean that you won't be seeing any more of Ethan sitting in the GM's chair. In fact, I can promise that that's not the case, that will not be the last time you see him sitting there.
I'll be around. I'm easily conned into things.
James actually get to play together. So we like it.
This is really great. This is the only time that, in fact, Christian and I get to play together. And,
it is.
You can tell
duty.
we have a fun time.
Merc asked if this is the last time we'll see Trapper and Crow.
You never know.
You never know.
I really hope not.
I mean, they'll be around. You can hold on to your character sheets. I might, in the future, they may or may not return. This is the end of the current arc of Couriers that Trapper and Crow are starring in. After this, something else will be happening. But that does not mean we will never return. Because
Trapper and Crow is a great example of how Christian and I turn every single gaming experience we have into a buddy cop movie.
I think every person who plays tabletop games needs somebody they can do that with. Because I do that with Paladin all the time. We are always buddy cop bullshit in any game.
Yep. It's what we do.
It's important.
And it cuts down on the in-party fighting so much.
Oh yeah, and it also cuts down on the filler that I have to do for streams because y'all can just like go off, and I can take 10 minutes to. All right, so they beat up all the fish. What?
We are the bounty hunters.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that one, Aaron Williams. Running Scared is my favorite buddy cop movie, hands down.
He actually told me that just last week when we were discussing buddy cop movies for about the umpteenth time.
I love Running Scared. Such a great film.
It's really, really great. It's not I think the first 48 hours is really good.
Oh, it's a contender, but the Running Scared is so great, and the jokes I love them.
And I love the crappy 80s ones. Like, man, I love all those Lethal Weapon movies.
Oh, they're fantastic. I love all buddy cop films, but
my favorite is Kiss Bang Bang. If you haven't seen that one.
Oh, that's such a good one too.
Yeah, Kiss Bang Bang is definitely my favorite.
Yes, Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You even got some Jimmy Smits in there. I mean, it's great. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Trapper and Crow. We will see you guys next time.
We'll be around. Have a good week.